This lesson is all about self-efficacy. Objectives for the lesson include defining and identifying the principles of self-efficacy, listing the features, and then examining what may cause high or low self-efficacy and impact behavior change. Self-efficacy is defined as the extent or strength of one's beliefs in one's own ability to complete tasks and reach goals. It helps if you understand why self-efficacy is important. It affects every area of human endeavor. Beliefs a person holds regarding his or her own power to affect situations strongly influences the power a person actually has to face challenges competently, and the choices a person is most likely to make. The effects are apparent and compelling regarding behaviors that affect health. Here's our first checkpoint. What is true regarding how self-efficacy affects motivation? Is it high self-efficacy can affect motivation positively and negatively? Or individuals with low self-efficacy have less incentive to learn about unfamiliar subjects? Or individuals with high and low self-efficacy report similar efforts in completing a task? The correct answer is high self-efficacy can affect motivation in both a positive and negative way. Self-efficacy can affect motivation in the following ways. High self-efficacy affects motivation positively and negatively. People with high self-efficacy are more likely to make efforts to complete a task and to persist longer in those task efforts than those with low self-efficacy. The stronger the self-efficacy, the more active the effort. Those with low self-efficacy experience incentives to learn more about unfamiliar subjects, where someone with high self-efficacy may not prepare as well for a task. Here's how self-efficacy affects thought patterns and responses. Low self-efficacy can lead one to believe tasks to be harder than they are, resulting in poor task planning and increased stress. People become erratic and unpredictable when engaging in a task in which they have low self-efficacy. People with high self-efficacy tend to take a wider view of a task in order to determine the best plan. Obstacles often stimulate people with high self-efficacy to greater efforts, where people with low self-efficacy will tend towards discouragement and giving up. A person with high self-efficacy will attribute failure to external factors, where a person with low self-efficacy will blame low ability. Here's a checkpoint, true or false. A person with high self-efficacy tends to take a wider view of a task in order to determine the best plan. The answer to this is true. Self-efficacy can affect health behaviors, and here's how. Choices affecting health are dependent on self-efficacy, like smoking, physical activity, or dieting. Self-efficacy beliefs are cognitions that determine whether health behavior change will be initiated, how much effort will be expended, and how long it will be sustained in the face of obstacles and failures. Self-efficacy influences how high people set their health goals. For example, I intend to reduce my smoking, or I intend to quit smoking altogether. 4 factors affect self-efficacy are an active engagement, vicarious experience, social persuasion, and physiological factors. Regarding an active attainment it's the experience of mastery. It's the most important factor in determining a person's self-efficacy. Either success raises self-efficacy or failure lowers it. So here's a checkpoint. True or false? Success can raise self-efficacy, while failure can lower self-efficacy. The correct answer to this is true. We all learn by vicarious experience. Modeling is experienced as, if you can do it, I can do it as well. When we see someone succeeding, our own self-efficacy increases. When we see people failing, our own self-efficacy decreases. Social persuasion generally manifests as direct encouragement or discouragement from another person. Discouragement is more effective at decreasing a person's self-efficacy, while encouragement is more effective at increasing self-efficacy. There are also physiological factors that can impact self-efficacy. Moods, emotions, physical reactions, and stress levels may influence how a person feels about their abilities. If a person is extremely nervous, they may begin to doubt and develop a weak sense of self-efficacy. If a person is confident and feels no anxiety or nervousness at all, they may experience a sense of excitement that fosters a great need of self-efficacy. It is the way people interpret and evaluate emotional states that are important for how one develops self-efficacy beliefs. For this reason, being able to diminish or control anxiety may have a positive impact on self-efficacy beliefs. Here's another case study of a real-life My Choice participant who received care during our pilot study. This participant had been in the My Choice program for 88 years and was a 55-year-old female who lived alone in a senior apartment complex. She had a history of anxiety, arthritis, COPD, depression, hypertension, osteoporosis, PVD, renal failure, seizure disorders, CVA, TIA, and PTSD. On assessment, she had some independence with ADLs and IADLs. She had worked as a social worker and had her master's degree. She also shared in the 90s she had lived in a homeless shelter for a few years. She had a problem with hoarding. Her living room was very cluttered and there was little space available to sit. During the home tour, there were overflowing craft items, and she was very overwhelmed and wanting to get her place more organized more efficiently, but didn't know where to begin. There were several safety items which were noted, such as boxes and pathways, very narrow pathways, and multiple scatter rugs in the entry hallway. Her goals were to improve balance and strength, home modifications, and improve her mood. The person-centered service plan was to obtain assistive devices for fall prevention, improve ADL, IDL tasks and strengthen balance, and medication management. With the issues with hoarding and her mood that led to the unsafe living environment that needed to be addressed. Her health status and vision problems impacted her mood. To you, these may seem like needs that would have been addressed in the My Choice program, but notably, they were not. To improve her ADL tasks, the OT had the grab bars installed by the bathtub for about $100. She was able to safely enter and exit the tub and bathe independently. Before that, she couldn't independently bathe. She wanted to improve her mood and outlook with regard to her health status and decreasing vision problems. Active listening was used. Resources were provided, and she was encouraged to contact Freedom Workers to donate items and to volunteer to teach some students her crafts. And information was provided on vision services with the Lions. She also needed medication management. She was provided information on her medications, and she had several over-the-counter medications that were expensive, over $40 a month out of pocket. So the RN contacted the PCP, who eliminated several of the over-the-counter medications and reduced her monthly cost to less than $10 per month out of pocket. There was assistance with the organization to improve. She wanted assistance to organize and improve her ability to find her needed items within her decreasing vision. So she had an issue with her furniture being rearranged and her floors, stairways, and passageways being kept free of the objects. The team encouraged her to remove some furniture that was not being used and to donate or sell some other items. She also allowed some of the furniture to be placed near the wall so she was able to walk around in her environment. Some of the safety concerns were addressed, and she appreciated the information, but felt she was safe to get around and knew how to get around her house. She also obtained and assembled a shelf for $144, and the chore worker from DSS allowed her to organize some of her medical equipment so that she had it stored in all one location within her home. This was also a very highly satisfied recipient who used OTRN and social work home visits to improve the quality of her life. She stated, "It has helped me stay more together and in a good primary prevention mode. I think I would have ended up in the hospital without this program." In sum, this new evidence-based model of care that's person-centered and self-directed helped care for this My Choice participant in a new way. Because the care was focused on her desire and what she wanted, this case provided a wonderful example of how even though she'd been cared for in My Choice for over 5 years, when the clinicians listened to what she really wanted, a difference was made in her life. Her home was organized, hoarding reduced, her mood was elevated, and her self-efficacy was improved to the point where she was able to volunteer and teach a class on crafts. In sum, in healthcare, most believe self-efficacy impacts desire to change behavior or not, and that motivating participants can increase self-efficacy, ultimately improving quality of life. Thank you.